Home celebrity remembering Michael Jackson on the 11th anniversary of his death, when having. I was dreamin' when I wrote this, so sue me if I go too fast, but life is just a party and parties weren't meant to last. Prince If I've told you this story before, forgive me. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson was supposed to be asleep after a night of rehearsals for his run of shows in London. He was supposed to be moving to London any minute and the shows would take a lot out of him. I was sitting right here at my desk working on various other stories when I got a message that Michael had had a heart attack and was being rushed to the hospital. Showbiz 411 just begun under the aegis of another publication, so I had to contact my editors in Los Angeles. While I was emailing them, I was simultaneously calling the cell phone of Frank DeLeo, Michael's longtime friend and manager, who'd just come back into the picture. When Frank picked up, I was relieved. "Frank," I said, "how is Michael? Where are you?" Frank was whispering. "I'm with him. He's gone." Gone? Wait, hadn't we jumped ahead of did he have a heart attack? Oh my god, Frank, what? He's gone. I'm at the hospital with him. I just closed his eyes. Frank, who everyone called Uncle Tukey, loved Michael. As it turned out, Frank would be dead a year later, from heart disease. It's not rational, but in a way I think this is what caused Frank's death. He was such a big-hearted guy, and he put on a good front, but the reality of Michael being gone was too much for him. I think the strain of it did him in. A couple of days later I'd be sitting on the terrace of the Four Seasons Hotel, having coffee with Frank and a couple other close Michael Jackson intimates who'd been good friends to me, covering Michael for many years. Everyone was in shock. One of them had been dealing with some members of the Jackson family, and it hadn't been pretty. One of them said to me, "Have you ever heard of Dr. Murray?" At the same time, he showed me a bill they'd received from Dr. Arnold Klein, Michael's Dr. Feelgood. It was for $48,000, and barely covered the period of rehearsals for the London shows. We read it in horror. I broke a lot of stories that summer thanks to these guys, trying to get to the bottom of Michael's death. Many of the stories are lost in space as the publication didn't archive them. I do remember communicating with the editors on email while Frank was talking to me from the hospital and confirming Michael's death. The head editor wrote back to me and said she wouldn't publish it without confirmation. "Is he really dead or just brain dead?" typed back to me. As it turned out, she was the one who was brain dead. She's not around anymore and no one remembers her name. I got into a lot of trouble last year criticizing the documentary, Leaving Neverland. Michael had made a lot of mistakes in his life, particularly flaunting friendships with little boys. Everyone knew he was a pedophile.